Hey everybody, we are live. We have a very special guest today. We have David Fashbinder. Go ahead and say hello, Mr. Fash.
Hey everybody, how you doing tonight?
He's like the guy, right? You are literally tier 0 judge for Masters, and are you some sort of judge in Fusion World as well?
Yeah, it's the same position essentially. So I'm tier 0 for Fusion World and Masters.
Oh, it's a double duty. Okay.
Double duty, yep.
Perfect. Today's conversation is going to be primarily focused on Masters, though obviously we'll touch on Fusion World and, its current hot topic of a red-haired mistress running around. So we're going to just kind of go straight into things. Man, I just want to know, how do you feel about Masters as a whole right now? Bandai's direction, decks that are available, the money market that's there. How much fun are you having?
A lot actually. So Masters has been um, really how I scratch my gaming itch these days. I get the opportunity to play in the locals every Friday and every other Sunday. So that's been a lot of fun. I think the game is super interesting, super exciting. Lots of creative things that you can do. Lots of different viable decks at the moment, especially if you're building for that competitive locals level type experience and you're not necessarily trying to go for, a national championship or anything like that. I think there's a lot of stuff that can sort of hang right now. And, we're still getting a lot of players coming out, still a lot of hype around the game right now. The sets are fire, the upcoming sets are fire, collectors, boosters doing well, card prices are strong again. So nothing to be upset about.
Yeah, I'm loving really a lot of what you said, and I think before we jump into the competitive meta, because that's definitely where we're headed next, is you mentioned like the card prices. I think it's really funny how quickly like everyone planned so quickly from Beyond Generations release to have the same prices that we've seen in the last 3 or 4 sets, and then shocker, lo and behold, basically every SPR is no less than like $3 if you're not counting turnless stuff, right? Like,
Yep.
I mean, Goku SPRs I think are still like $10. The Gotenkses are still like $6. Turns out good cards are good, and I love the card direction that Bandai's taken it. You really mentioned something on that, like the competitive casual, right? The almost top tier competitive, but I think one of the best parts to me about the current competitive scene is just how many decks are viable. Last weekend we saw 10 decks in a top 16. And I looked at every one of those decks and went, of course that deck could top. It already did. Right? Like, there wasn't, like, some new shocker deck, anything like that. It wasn't somebody who squeaked in with a tier 6 thing. Every one of those decks had already been competitive. And so I want to just get your idea on what do you think the current competitive format and how strong it's been?
It's really exciting. I think one of the things that Bandai's doing really well and the player base is responding to is they're doing a lot of legacy support. So, players, they love their legacy decks. They love the ability to go back into our eternal card pool and craft something unique, fun. We're starting to reach critical mass with a lot of decks and a lot of card pools, or decks that were, 3, 4, 5 cards short of being complete and being competitive. They've got those cards now. Or, examples like the BT24 successor Frieza, where Bandai is like, hey, it only took us 19 tries, but we finally figured out what card tricks successor cards need in order to be viable. So we're seeing, decks that people looked at and were like, oh, this deck is like super mid, at first, like the Black Vegito that's doing really well right now. I remember when that was revealed, I was really hyped for the reveal. And, everyone was like, man, cards just don't look that good. Looks kind of weak. But then in practice, everyone's like, "Oh, I see." A 6-drop double strike blocker barrier that can restand and only costs 1 to put out. It's good. What? Who would have thunk it?
Off of 2 of the best cards in the game with Beyond All Limits and Heated Fighting Spirit, no less, too, right? Like, extreme capabilities. I love that design space because it kind of builds on the card pool we already have, while also introducing an entirely new way to play if you so choose.
Yep. And that's the way to do it. You know, you've got to take advantage of the fact that we have an eternal card pool. You don't have to reinvent the wheel with a new gimmick, a new keyword every set, every color. You've got a lot of good, chunky content out there already for players to tap into. So I think they're doing it right. This is probably the happiest I've been with the development in a long time for Masters.
Honestly, this is like where I keep talking about it with all my friends that are into Fusion World right now, and I'm like, dude, Masters is in the best place it's been. Competitively, like, we obviously have the speed bump of Z1, Zenkai 1, set 18, but that was 7 sets ago, and I think the game's been in, like, a pretty darn good place with several top-tier decks, basically since set 20, right?
Yep.
So I really feel so happy with the game, and right now we're in just, like, literally maybe the widest format the game has ever seen. And it's so impressive just to see how many decks are capable, and this competitive season has been really great. And one thing I think they've really stepped up this season and this year, we have another season ahead. Oh, I can't wait. Is the prizing. Competitive prizing is so good. How do you feel about what's going on? Is there something like that you find the favorite out of this?
Well, I'm really happy they put the stamps back on the top 16 card, you know, which was something that we've been asking for a while. For whatever reason, it seems to really round out the collector's value for a lot of people, which I can understand. Again, you're seeing vibrant art, absolutely amazing serial card this year. You know, one that I'm actually, you know, probably going to go out and buy one just so I can have it. You've got the top 16 card is really good. You've got the gold cards at the top end. You know, and again, we're seeing a little bit of a rebound in terms of the pricing and the value of some of this stuff. Obviously, the regional promos are really good this time. They're not all amazing, but that's kind of what you want, right? You don't want it to be where, you know, crap, for every color, every deck, if I don't have this card, I'm boned, like we saw kind of last year with the first wave. You know, I love what we're seeing now, where these promos are taking fringe to completely unranked decks, and elevating them to either, you know, regional winning
I was gonna say win, sell,
or, you know, second place, first place at regionals. Like we've seen it with the Broly with Cell, and I think it's very telling because it shows you that Bandai actually has their finger on the pulse of what these decks need to get to that competitive sphere, which for anybody who's played this game for a while and has been let down by, you know, support cards that fall short over the years, anniversary boxes that fall flat, it's probably the biggest culprit, you know, year over year. Like, they should be very excited about how this kind of signals overall the developers, you know, acumen for the game and recognizing what they need to do to make things interesting and fun.
It's been great. I think you mentioned perfectly that, like, having legacy support instead of these generic, you know, the riposts, the Zamasu Eliminator, the Sin Cold-Hearted of the past, and yet still I can enter a regional, sell a Goku Black for $10, sell a Broly for $15, sell a Goku for $4. Sure, you know, like, it's been really great that people can get their money back, play these old decks that are really great. And the legacy port just is actually good. That is really a big thing, because I think, like, we kind of talk about it all the time as players of, like, oh, this is just what the deck needs. But if Bandai can actually figure that out and actually make these cards rather than players just having to wish and hope, we're in such a good spot. How do you feel about the ways that they've distributed legacy support, right? So right now we're going through regional promos. Since I believe set 21, we've been seeing about 3 per set for older archetypes in each color. I think that was the first time we got it. Tournament packs, and then obviously, hey, you know, we don't know it's happening, I don't think, but Anybox 2024?
I mean, I would imagine there's going to be some sort of anniversary product. It is the 7th anniversary of the game this year. The entire next set of, you know, BT25 is themed around the 7th anniversary. Um, there's a lot of different ways, right? And it's still less than what it used to be.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a shift where I think the mix for the TPs has been really good, where you've got some required to buff your inset decks. You've got some strong legacy support. And again, even if it's not going to elevate the deck to be hyper competitive, it's enough to make you go dust it off and try it again. For me, it's like fuel for locals, right? Because I'd love to play a different deck every week in locals whenever I can. If I have time, get in the lab and throw something together. And the promos definitely help with that. I mean, I'm all for it. It gives me a reason to go out to play locals. I mean, I'm excited to see what I crack. I can tell you there's many sets where I did not care because the cards were either all booty or just had felt like they'd been out for 100 years.
Yeah.
And I like that they're including some stuff in the base sets. That's a lot of fun. And then I think they're doing everything right for the most part in Masters right now. I don't really have a lot I can say because one, now that they've sort of moved on from new player acquisition mindset for Masters and just like, hey, let's give this existing loyal player base and customer base what they want, cards that look amazing to drive the collectors to keep buying, popular characters, compelling, exciting decks, new rarities to collect. I think that stuff is, what they need to be doing. It really should be basically, to put it simply, a fan service product at this point. Not like to the point that everything's broken and, your game becomes a joke, but
we get 2 into fan service, and it will only be Broly mirrors. There will be 6 different Broly decks, but it'll only be Broly.
You don't want to get too crazy now.
Yeah. I'm going to quick lightning round some questions before we pop into the Fusion World stuff. So,
yeah.
1, how do we convince Bandai to bring back side loaders? Those were the coolest product and the coolest prizes of all time. And I still use them today. Like, they're all over my decks.
You know what it was? I think they overproduced them so much and probably spent so much damn money making those things, and then they basically sat there to rot for 4 years. And then I don't know. I think that someone just doesn't think that they're very interesting, and I don't think they're at a point with Masters where they really want to take risks or invest a ton of money into it. What's going on is working now, and I don't see them deviating from it too much. So
that's
yeah.
Okay. We'll just all be on the secondary market paying $40 for one side loader.
I got you, man. $39.95 just for you.
Ooh, an undercut. Let's go. All right, and then you, as a primary benefactor, what are your new thoughts on the judge stamps? We got a whole new set of judge stamps, kind of copying the Fusion World style. How do you feel about them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Are they okay? What do you think?
I think they're okay. I missed the head judge pack because they were really unique looking. I like things that are unique looking. I think that there's enough of a difference between the store and the event stamp, especially on the cards that really emphasize the gold detailing and the image for the event. As always, it's going to come down to card selection. So when we see cards like the Chilled Anniversary promo, the Tapion Unison that have either only come in kind of weak foil patterns or no foil patterns before, those are always the best ones to get in a judge reprint. So I'm fine with it. I can definitely get down with it. The judge cards have always just been cool flex for me more than anything else. I'm not trying to become a millionaire selling my judge cards.
If anything, you're buying them. I've seen the posts. looking for level 3s, head judges that you didn't go.
Well, the level 3 I missed out on, because I did not head judge many events at all. I think it was just Gen Con during that pack. And when I reached out to Ben, I was like, please, can you help a level 0 out? They said, we ran out, sorry. Kick rocks. I was like, oh man, I managed to get my hands on one pack of it, so at least I've got that. But that spot in my binder is looking a little lonely. I had to fill it with level 2s. Ugh.
Oh, dude, I listen, I'm still playing level 2 tragedies. That is a tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's funny because, I don't know if I said it the last time I was on here, the whole level 3 thing was kind of just a funny misunderstanding. Because when I was pitching the idea of the 3-tiered promos, because the most important one is really the event stamp.
Yep.
Because for me, one of the things that I always struggled with was I'd have judges, some of them coming out of their own pocket to travel to events to work. And then they were getting the same exact cards that some schmuck who was just ripping tournament kits open and pocketing everything was getting. And I was like, that can't just keep happening.
Yeah.
So having something that is exclusive for you for working at events, it encourages people to take the judge test, respond to judge calls, get shots. I mean, I've had the last 3 or 4 events that I've run, including Battle Hour, and then this weekend's regional in Charlotte. I had new faces on the staff.
That's awesome.
And to me, that's really important to get these more people a taste of judging, really try to shake the impression that a lot of outsiders have that it's like a inner circle type thing, and you've got to be like the same people. When they don't realize that for the longest time we did only use the same people strictly because those were the only folks that were willing to do it.
Yeah.
It's great to have a mix, right? You have 1 or 2 veteran guys on the team, and then really the rest can be, greenhorns.
Yeah.
Who come in and learn the ropes and work hard. And for those guys to walk out of, this past weekend with like event stamp cards for both games was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's super cool to see them. I like the gold. It's the fact that like the picture is like raised because the characters aren't foil is really cool. I can appreciate a lot of that texture for it. So it's cool to see. I really love the prizing, and I'm so glad that you're getting new support for judges and for your teams and everybody. So guys, keep judging. Make sure to take those judge tests because they are important. And then also you can be a more valuable asset to your local store. Nothing holds up a local like an insane judge question that doesn't have an answer and no one in the room knows the true intricacies of the game. So
and now you can't DM me for an answer.
That's true.
So.
He's mine only. He said just me. So, all right, we'll go ahead and pop into our next question. How do you think Fusion World has impacted Masters? I want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, everything about it, because I think there are positives and negatives, and I just want to hear your thoughts as someone who is not necessarily a competitor, but also has literal touch with Bandai. You see so much more than everyone else. I just want to see what your thoughts are.
Sure. Honestly, I don't think it's impacted it a whole lot. The people that weren't playing Masters still aren't playing Masters. Maybe they picked up Fusion World, maybe they didn't. As you can see, we haven't lost out on events or prizing, especially compared to the last couple of years. If anything, we've gained in Masters. I think you'll even see opportunities like we had in North Carolina, where that was really a Fusion World event, but we were able to tack on a Masters regional for it. I don't. This is not me painting a sunny picture and saying that both games are going to coexist in harmony forever and all eternity, and Masters will never cease to be. Masters is a mature product, so companies can only carry so many mature products at a time. They need to focus on growth and, getting their numbers, and Masters has been very consistent. I think that with Fusion World existing, if Masters ever takes a nosedive, it'll be a lot easier for them to write it off than it would have
Yeah.
before, obviously. Um, but I really see them as two different player bases, two different communities. Yeah, a few people I know gave up Masters for Fusion World, but again, the numbers are so small relative to that, and the Masters player base, as we all know, is super loyal and super loves this game. So I don't really see Fusion World as a problem. I mean, look, every TCG, the diehards get, redheaded stepchild syndrome the second another product exists. I mean, we've seen it in, Masters when Digimon came out, and then when One Piece came out, and then when One Piece came out, the Digimon people started to cry, and it's just going to go on forever and ever and ever. At the end of the day, it's a business for Bandai, right? We have to remember that. But yeah, I mean, Masters rocks, and I love what they're doing with the art, especially in the upcoming sets. The art is just they keep finding a way to elevate the art every set. I don't know how they do it, but they're doing it.
Well, I mean, that brings us right into our next set. 25, Zenkai 8, I believe called Legend of the Dragon Balls.
Legend of the Dragon Balls, yes.
Oh gosh, you guys see that? He can just look off to the side and see it. What a privilege to have him today. That's so cool. So this is, you said this was themed around the anniversary, the 7th anniversary, 7 Dragon Balls, I'm sure, is the...
Well, it happens to be the 7th anniversary set, and there is one specific card in the set that specifically calls out the fact that it's the 7th anniversary. But yes, the theme is definitely around the Dragon Balls and the history of the Dragon Balls, and we've got the campaign rares that directly play into that, as well as, of course, it's just a great set with gorgeous art touching on, every era of the show. So you've got Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super archetypes, all in the same set, one per color. So,
yeah. I think that might be a little hint, guys, because we've now seen officially the tournament pack cards. They got, basically everyone's playing with a blurry image, but we can see red looks like Dragon Ball, Goku versus KP. Blue is Majin Buu Saga, I think. Green looks, because we're, the community, we're detectives, we gotta pull out the magnifying glass and try to figure out if that's a B or an 8. And I think BoJack Saga, Trunks Future or something, some BoJack. I don't remember the yellow cards anymore. I think I maybe already wrote them off. Maybe that's where the GT is hidden. And then I'm really excited to see what that, Shenron is all about. Multicolor black is something that they really haven't historically done much with, but I think is very interesting, right? Giving, when we had Grand Priest got access to the red black, it was like, ooh, what can I do with this? And obviously Prismatic is a top 3 fan favorite archetype in the history of the game, so that's awesome.
Yeah, but there's something for everybody in the next set, so it's gonna really be great. I mean, the alt leaders are back. Obviously, there's SPRs, there's campaign rares, there's god rares, there's multiple SCRs to collect. So it really is going to be a good set. The only thing that's a bummer is no foils, because again, there's no collector's booster for this set, so no way to get commons and uncommons and foil, which is a bummer.
That is definitely something. But honestly, even with that, I did really appreciate going back to the silver foil. It does stink to lose the full arts, but the silver foil I think is a much higher quality print.
Yes, it's a better print. It's not going to Pringle. It's a higher quality card. No question.
Very, very nice stuff. So, you mentioned it in there, a lot of secret rares. How do you feel about a double God Rare 4 SCR set? We've seen the 4 SCRs before, but never 2 God Rares.
Yeah, I mean, look, get cracking. The one of the reasons why card value from BT24 is so high is because there was a record low orders because of the Fusion World fallout and everyone panicking and sky is falling type stuff. And that's okay. I think Bandai would rather adjust their forecast and try to sell out rather than have product left over any day of the week. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of people chasing these God rares, and they're gorgeous looking, and hopefully they'll get previewed soon.
Oh man, I mean, hey, we gotta get to. Let's start with the common uncommon before we get to the God rares. I know everyone wants to see that, but as a competitive player myself, I'm like, show me what these decks do. I gotta see. If you can hint at it without breaking any rules. Are there any new mechanics that we should be looking forward to, or is it really just furthering the support? I think we just got Z Unison's last set, so I think if they've been on like kind of a two rotation, 2 sets in each new.
Yep. So there's no new mechanics, no new gimmicks this set. You're just leaning more into it. Like I said, you've got the campaign rares, you got the alt leaders. The cards all look better. You've got literally everything that runs the gamut from a new skill list deck all the way up to a deck that tries to use as many different skills as possible. And everything in between. So there's a lot going on. Again, cards designed to support the old stuff, the new stuff. Obviously the in-set archetypes. There's some fire TPs in the set that I'm really excited to play with. Yeah, I mean, this set is a really good one, and it's going to be a pain to collect, because between all the different rarities to chase and cards to go after, like if you're buying a box hoping to pull a specific SPR, SCR, campaign rare, something like that, it's going to be tough.
That is really good. What if you had to give yourself one thing that you are looking forward to the most out of this set? What would that one be?
Honestly, getting back to where the SPRs and the alt leaders look good. So they used the same foil pattern that we saw in the last set, but they did a much better job preventing the art from getting drowned out by the foil on those. So you've got parts of the card that are deliberately not foiled so that they really pop out. You've got enhanced textures on all of the alt leaders. Most people don't even realize that the alt leaders from the prior set weren't even textured at all because they were just drowned out by that foiling to the nth degree. I want to get back to where that's not a storyline because it does suck. I remember when I got my sample product,
Oh man, that was like December because you were showing off Scouter and you were like, and wait till next set because can anything ever dethrone your forever deck, Successor Frieza? Is it possible?
I mean, it could. So I love the Successor Frieza deck, and it actually gets some support in the new set coming out.
Michael Friend, do you hear that? You hear that, buddy?
And so it's still a super fun deck, and it's just so troll.
And about one of the new fire TPs, Gohan. You can't see it because you're not seeing anything, but if you have the stream up, you'd see it. I've got a proxied out Gohan in my hands. That's what I'm super excited for.
Which TP is that?
The winner, the Gohan Adolescence, the U7 one.
Oh, nice. That text has been revealed, or it was CSI'd successfully?
CSI'd successfully, yeah. The one play, draw 2. Well, the winner ones are always the easiest to read, right? Because they're just literally 3 times the size. Still can't quite make out the Prison Frieza one, which is unfortunate for me, because I'm a big Prison Frieza fan.
Hang on. Let's see. I have that one. I feel like I've got that one somewhere.
Because you like that deck, right? I'm not crazy.
I swear, and my card room is more organized than it's ever been. All right, here we go. Okay, Prison Frieza. Let's see. All right, so it's Frieza, Mental Fortitude, 6 cost, 2 specified red, 0 5K combo, is a blocker, 10k. Auto limit 1. If your leader is red and you have 3 or more energy, when you activate a mono red extra from your hand by paying the cost, play this card from your hand, and this card can't be KO'd for the turn.
Okay.
Activate main limit 1, pay a red, and discard 1 mono red extra from your hand. This card gets plus 15k power and double strike for the turn, so you become a 25k double striker, and you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and minus 20k power for the turn.
Okay. That first auto, did that cost a red? The one to play him?
Nope.
So that one was free, just if your leader's red and you pay for an extra card.
Yep, and you have to have 3 or more energy.
3 or more energy. Okay. But that's still really great. That's, that's gonna, you put up an explosive dance floodgate or something, and then play that. It gets another block out. And then hopefully on your turn you can come back. And it's a 6 cost, so you should be able to evolve. I think it says 5 or higher on the other one, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's a blocker that comes out and can't be KO'd the turn it comes out is pretty sweet. And then it has an offensive ability that you can use on the next turn. And I mean, and all my OG Prison Frieza people know that anything you can have as a mana sink on your turn is always nice.
Yeah.
So, seems pretty good to me.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. Hey guys, there's the actual exclusive. So we've got 2 hints of cards in the upcoming set and literally read out one of the TPs. So we love them for that. So let's get back to the internet and we'll have the stitch it together. We'll wrap it up real quick here. Yeah, man, back to those leaders. That really has been something that I loved. The Hrudegarn leader is like a top 5 art in the game, to be honest with you. The pastel is so gorgeous, and I really love when they come out with unique art like that. So knowing that it's coming again and it's going to be even better, it's super awesome to hear.
Yeah, I love the alt leaders in the set. They're tremendous.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, hey, I thank you so much for your time today, Fash. Anybody that is around, definitely make sure to say thanks, say hi to him when he's at events. Literally the nicest person you will ever meet or talk to. There's so much to learn from him, and I thank him so much for his time.
Thanks, Dane.
Yeah. All right, guys, like, subscribe, you know the deal. Have a great night.